good? Come on, we good? You good?
I put a shit on my grandson. Sorry. Yeah, he coached me for the coach. He's the one that was there. You wanted to just smoke bugs? They asked him to coach over here, but he said no. Because I didn't give your name to referee.
What?
They asked me to coach over here, but he said no.
I know. Huh? I can't tie it to Jordan. I have like that.
The ref said he was right.
I got the exclusive for everybody. You excited? Don't look at me. There's somebody right here.
Excited.
Alright. I tried it, bro. It was in the bag. I couldn't like.
Bonilla!
Good luck. Come here. Cup block. You asked me about it, I never got to tell you, right? Drop your helmet. Drop your helmet. Okay, if I'm cup blocking you, let's say the play's going that way and I got to cut you off. We have a problem with that, right? We seem to not get that. I used to call it a Superman. Right down in here. Cup block. In front. You dive it right in here. Now, if you're engaged, let's say you come at me. I'm at me. Engaged, then you can go from here to here. And you go down. So be engaged and do it, let him go, and then he
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
inside the tackle. You can do that. When you can't do it, is if you're blocking me, and then somebody else cuts me. That's an illegal cut. When the guy's engaged with you and then somebody else cuts him. You can go one on one.
7, 8, 9, 10.
So think about play away.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Well, where's Nas at? Nas, come here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Come on, let me get in that.
3, 1,
You know that's Coach Roy Dad right there? And in college?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Show my son boy. Tell him his dad here. I'm like, all right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Hey, Haji.
Right here. Come here. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You want to see the instruction? All right, we're back at the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You do that, you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go off the field, off the field. Hey, gentlemen, take a seat. Take a seat. Get off your feet. Get off your feet. What's wrong, Lamar? What's wrong?
I hope you think about how we're going to win. I hope you think about how we're going to win. And I say win. Because I believe it. You got to believe it too. No, that's real shit though, bro. This is an important game. This shit mean a lot to most of the niggas on the team. I'm not going to say everybody, bro, but you know, this is my last year. This is one of my last games, you feel me? I play around a lot, bro, but I got to step up and be a man, you feel me?
Yeah, Chris.
I'm telling you, if he's in that backfield,
It's Grant.
all right. And then you guys are he was literally last year. Last year he was playing track.
No, he's not. He's a sophomore. He's a sophomore. He's still too big for that one.
Tight end though. Great. Good. I like to hear that.
And good evening, everybody. Tad Kozinski with you here on Sterling High School TV 19. We're getting set to bring you live football action tonight from Lindenwold High School, a beautiful field. We are live, and we'll be getting to action momentarily as Kevin Schul is going to be joining me, and John Hallwood will join me as well. And Kevin, this is a game that I think on paper is a mismatch, but I think if you're a Sterling fan, what's going to be nice for Sterling is you're going to have your quarterback back.
That's a big thing because I think, you know, this is a game, again, against a little bit of a lesser team and a good way for Jeremiah Thompson to kind of ease his way back into things, get into a little bit of a rhythm before they play a very tough Haddonfield team next week.
We're waiting for our camera people to get here, so that's why we're not moving around very much. But they will be here before the game starts. And John Hallwood here as well. And John, after last week, Sterling looking for some big things tonight.
They really are, and they played a really good homecoming game against West Deptford, and a lot of good things came out from Trey Potts and the defense. Defense has played especially very well this season. Able to get the quarterback, able to stop the runs before they even happen. And honestly, it's just amazing how well the Sterling defense has done.
Historically, Lindenwold has been a program that has really struggled. But, Kevin, would you believe it if I told you the last time these two teams met, Lindenwold won?
Was a bizarre game where Sterling was ahead, I believe, by 2 scores. And Lindenwold came back in the last 5 minutes. It was one of those games, you know, I remember it, but I don't remember the exact specifics. The only thing in general I remember is that everything went wrong for Sterling in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, that game was played in November of 2016. Sterling lost the game 32-28. Before that, the teams met in 2014. Sterling won that game 53-6. And in 2013, 42-14 Sterling won. And then 2011, Sterling won 13-12. So with the exception of the two in the middle, the games have been relatively close. But today, again, coming in on paper, Sterling, the team on the uprise, they're expecting some big things.
No doubt about it, you know, and you have just some nagging injuries along the way, but nothing that'll really significantly impact this Sterling team. But, again, this is a team that is coming off their biggest win of the season. John, you talked about all the particulars in that West Deptford win. And the biggest thing about coming into this game, this is basically your trap game in between West Deptford and Haddonfield, is you want to come out, play hard, play fast, and get off to a good start.
To give you an idea of how much Lindenwold has struggled in their history, they come in with a record overall of 44 and 129. That's a 25% winning percentage. In the league, they are 22 and 70. At home, they are 23 and 63. Now, Sterling isn't that much better. Overall, they're 73 and 101 in their last 174. That's 42%. But again, Kevin, you'd say Sterling is on the upswing here.
No doubt about it. They have an offensive defensive line that's significantly an upgrade from what they've had in the last few years. There's some speed in the backfield. And, they've been doing a lot of this, again, with their backup quarterback, Trey Potts, who has, don't get me wrong, has come in and done an outstanding job. But, guys, the big thing now is you got Trey Potts at his natural position where he can be a playmaker, and you have Maya Thompson that can really spread the ball out to the multiple weapons that Sterling has.
And you really can. You saw usually when Potts was the quarterback, they did a lot of trick runs. They didn't throw it as much, but now with Jeremiah Thompson, they'll be able to throw it a lot more smoothly. They can still do those runs that they want, those trick runs that they want to do. And honestly, it's a lot better looking team than we saw, I don't know, maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago.
Trey Potts in a fill-in role went 21 for 35, 291 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Now, Jeremiah Thompson, who will be starting tonight for the first time since week 1. In week 1, he was 11 for 21, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And, Kevin, he makes no bones about it. He does have a favorite wide receiver.
Absolutely. And you have to think when he comes in here, they're going to really try to get Christian Valeriano involved in the offense. And, Tad, we've looked at him out on the outside, and a lot of times you're getting a one-on-one matchup where Christian Valeriano, with not only his size but his ability to go up and adjust and get those balls, puts you in a situation where you can throw a ball to him, even though if he is covered, he's going to win a one-on-one battle.
And you mentioned Valeriano. He has 6 catches this year, second only to Jameer Rowe, 117 yards and 3 touchdowns. Rowe, a freshman, 11 catches, 176 yards, and a touchdown. We're a few minutes away from the start of this game here at Lindenwold. Getting ready to bring you all the action here in this game where Sterling comes in 4-1. Lindenwold is 1-4. The last couple games for Lindenwold, we give you here, they played Haddon Township and lost it 36-6. They did beat Gloucester Catholic 22-20, lost to Lower Cape May 34-18, lost to New Egypt 49-6, and lost to Pittman 52-8. And we're talking to some of the administrators around here in the past. There have been a couple of players from Lindenwold who've actually come and choice students to Sterling.
You have. I mean, in the past you had Lamar Price, you had C.J.
Barrett,
and Chris Rowe was the other one.
Crowd just getting started to file in here. You couldn't ask for a nicer night. It's probably a little more humid than they would like on the field, but overall, this is a really beautiful night for football.
A nice night. Tad, you mentioned the field. We were down there, really in good shape. It's soft, not one of those rock-hard fields. Especially, even sometimes you get in the middle, you have dirt where it's rock-hard. You go down on it, you're really going to feel a hit. But everything's in great shape. The weather, field conditions, it's just incumbent on Sterling to come out and play hard right from the get-go.
Lindenwold won the toss. They deferred. They will receive. So they will receive. Is there any way you can do me a huge favor, Mr. Schultz? Until our camera people get here, can you do camera for a minute or two?
No problem.
I hate to ask you. So we're gonna put Mr. Schultz in service. Either Sheree or Sam are going to be here. We'll have Mr. Farr yell at them later. So Mr. Schultz is going to help out with camera until Sheree or Sam get here, as we're just about set for action. And getting ready for the national anthem. And we'll listen in for our national anthem.
By Lindenwold Senior, Giselle Montoya. twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
There's a way to start off a game when the students here at Lindenwold with your national anthem as we're set to bring you Sterling versus Lindenwold. A beautiful night for football. As you saw the flag there, barely a breeze blowing. Sterling will be in the visiting white, Lindenwold in the home gold with the blue. Sun just setting behind us. Usually 7 o'clock games. Tonight a 6 o'clock game. So I'll tell you what, you couldn't ask, again, a nicer night. And how about the playing service, John?
It looks honestly like a professional field right out there. It looks really nice, and you cannot tell a difference between if it was a high school field. And again, it's just a beautiful day as it is. It's not too warm, and it's not too cold. It's just perfect to play football.
So beautiful night for football. As Sterling looking to go 5-1. If they can get through this one, they have that huge showdown at Haddonfield next Friday night. But first, they got to take care of business here. And again, Lindenwold coming off a win the last time these two teams met back in 2016. So Lindenwold into kickoff. Sterling will be back to receive. Back deep will be Dylan Herbert, the junior. He's on the near side of the field. Trey Potts goes to the far side. Again, he's been the quarterback the last hand. We got our picture back. Sorry about that. We're working through some technical stuff here. So we're just about set for action. Is Lindenwold set to kick things off?
Lions will be kicking off. Sterling.
So Potts again on the far side. Herbert on the near side as we get set for the kickoff.
A win right here would definitely help them out, facing against two tough teams, of course, Haddonfield and Willingsboro up next after this game.
Here we go. Line drive kickoff, and we get a whistle right away, and I believe you're going to get an offsides call. So offsides, and they'll have to kick it again.
And honestly, that's not something you want to see as a Lindenwold fan, but honestly, Sterling is going to love that better field position right there for them.
Going to have to do it all over again. So back to kick it again will be Maldonado Audon. Sterling going to get good field position nonetheless. It looks like he doesn't have that great of a leg as he tried to go with the line drive there.
It's more of a squib kick than anything.
Yep. So we'll do it all over again. Band's into it. Better kick here. Nice return coming here. This is Deuce Everett. Everett goes for a far side return, gets by one. He's going to get to about the 30-yard line where Sterling will take over 1st and 10. The return of Jeremiah Thompson, 11 for 21, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Mekhi Morgan, the leading running back thus far, 48 carries, 261 yards, 5 touchdowns. Sterling with a 1st and 10.
And Sterling right now is going to try to make something out of their first play right here with Jeremiah Thompson back in. It's going to be interesting if they're going to throw it a lot more with.
There's no doubt they'll be throwing it more. They practiced that a lot in the offseason. Thompson now will start also with the handoff. This is Potts. Potts going to get a 1st down, and Moore gets a block, runs into Valeriano, gets across midfield. It's going to be a gain of a little more than 20 and a 1st down.
That was not Trey Potts. That was number 6, Nemo Butler.
And Butler Mayhew's had a good season as well. 39 carries, 194 yards. They go with the no huddle. 1st and 10 across midfield. Thompson wants to throw. Gets the pass off. It's complete to Savarese. Savarese cuts ahead. He'll get the 1st down out of about the 35-yard line.
Honestly, a nice set play right there for Sterling, able to get the 10 yards that they need. And honestly, both plays leading into a 1st down.
Yet another 1st down. Butler Mayhew, the slot back. He gets the handoff. Up the middle. Butler Mayhew to about the 30-yard line. Tackled on the play by Jason Shavas.
And honestly, that's another thing that Sterling has been doing well is their offensive line is just great job doing the blocking.
2nd down and 5 for the Knights, their first offensive drive of the game. Butler Mayhew. He is going to be a little bit shy of the 1st down, maybe a yard shy as he gains about 4. And in there on the stop was Jason Savas, again, the junior.
Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to go something deep right here, maybe because this feels like a 2-down territory already.
3rd and 2 for the Knights, deep into Lindenwold territory. Thompson wants to throw. Gets it off near side, Mayhew. Mayhew trucks a man, going to get the 1st down. The tackle by Jeremiah Craig, who's just a freshman, but he trucked Craig.
Honestly, what a great job right there from him. And for 3 players to be right on him and still not be tackled says something right there.
From the 23, 1st and 10, Sterling. We're just underway, no score. First drive of the game, and Sterling moved on that one. It'll cost them 5. That's their first penalty of the game.
And again, that's something that you don't usually see a lot right there from Sterling is the offensive penalties. And you don't want to see too much of those from Sterling because they can really, really backfire, even against a team like Lindenwold.
Each team now have been penalized. It'll be a 1st down and 15. Under 10 minutes to go, first quarter, we have no score. Sterling driving 1st and 15. This time in the backfield looks like Makai Morgan. 1st and 15. Across the middle. Man, wide open. Potts, it's a touchdown. So he goes from quarterback to wide receiver. Give Potts a touchdown, and Sterling's on the board.
And honestly, great job right there from Trey Potts. Able to make the easy slant. Gives Jeremiah the easy throw, and easy touchdown right there for Potts.
For Potts, his 2nd touchdown receiving of the year. For Thompson, his 3rd touchdown pass. Sterling leading at 6-0. Extra point try, Jeremiah Thompson. Snap is good. Good job on the hold. The kick is no good. It was a good attempt to get the hold there. That was Mayo David who got that. So 9:50 to go here in the first quarter. Sterling leading at 6-0.
And right there, you saw Sterling easily run down through Lindenwold's defense, able to get easy yardage quite easily down the field, went easily down the field, and it's going to be interesting now how Sterling's defense now plays against Lindenwold's offense.
So again, you're watching high school football here on Sterling High School TV 19's YouTube channel. Glad you're with us. The home games, we have the TV truck, all the replays, all the angles, and we go on the road. It's a one-camera shoot, but we appreciate Paul Mays and the technology department, as well as last year's graduate Andrew Kane of giving us the technology to do this, and of course our Board of Education Administration for paying for some devices that we can go live for you here. Our plan for this weekend, we are off school on Monday. We are going to attempt to bring you the soccer game Monday with Haddon Heights and Sterling at 3:45 on Monday.
And a very record could be tied that game. Loma's just one clean sheet away from tying the basically most consecutive clean sheets.
Sterling into kick with that strange start that they'll have. We saw it last week for the first time.
Honestly.
And here we go.
Honestly, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. That's the simple term to say.
And here comes Sterling to kick off. Pretty decent kick. This is Collins going to pick it up at his 5. Collins to the near side of the field. Collins gets to about the 18-yard line where Lindenwold will take over 1st and 10. In there on the tackle was Eli Thompson.
And again, that's another thing that Sterling has been well at is special teams, the kickoffs. They're able to stay on their lines and able to quickly get the runner as fast as they can.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for Lindenwold. We have 9:44 to play here in the first quarter. Sterling leads it 6-0. Quarterback is Adrian Bonilla. Hands off near side. Sterling all over this. A host of Knights in there. Savarese was in there starting things. A whole lot of white shirts. Also Tavon Atkins in there. Going to lose about 5.
That's going to bring up a 2nd and 15.
And again, that's also something that Sterling has done well at, is just getting through offensive lines and quickly going after the runner or the quarterback.
Bonilla from the shotgun on 2nd and 15. 9-minute mark, first quarter. Sterling by 6. Bonilla wants to take this himself. Bonilla, good hole up the middle. Potts on the tackle as he gets to about the 26-yard line. Going to leave him 3rd and about 4 and a gain of 10.
And honestly, a great job by him. Long snap, a little too high for him. Able to grab it back down and able to get some nice yardage. Able to make an imaginable 3rd down right here.
3rd down and 4 for Lindenwold. We're in the first quarter. Sterling leading it 6-0 as Sterling drove down the field. Potts on the touchdown pass from Thompson. 3rd down and 4. Lions from about their own 26. As we welcome Mr. Schulz back. Thank you for your camera there.
No problem.
Business.
Next man up mentality here we have at Channel 19.
That was
right,
excellent.
John?
Yep.
Here comes Shavas. He is going to be very close to the 1st down. Depending on the spot, he might have
They're
it.
going to give it to him.
Really close.
And now they do give him the 1st down, as in there on the tackle was Savarese. This drive, Kevin, very important for Lindenwold to keep this game in check.
And no doubt about it. I mean, you could see Sterling offensively just really moved right down the field and just showed you how they can utilize multiple weapons.
1st and 10. This is Shavas. And he's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. That's the 2nd time they try to go against the front left side of the Sterling defense for nowhere.
Yeah, and right now the defensive line's just standing everybody up. It's just total domination on both sides of the ball here early on by Sterling.
Really has, and again, we've seen this throughout the season that Sterling's defensive line has gone into the quarterback, has gone into the runner quite early on, and it makes a problem for offenses.
Give him a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9. 7:15 to go, first quarter. Sterling leading it 6-0. Shavas following Busby. He is wrapped up on the play by Savarese after a gain of about a yard. So far, Kevin, I've seen Savarese, the junior, in on quite a few tackles.
Yeah, he initially, you saw them try to go to the outside with some speed that Lindenwold has in the backfield. Gained real good upfield penetration, and they tried to cut it back, had good backside support, but again, it all started with Savarese on the outside.
3rd down and 7 for Lindenwold. Ball at their own 35 as we hit the 6.5-minute mark to go here in the first quarter. Busby this time. Busby runs into a brick wall. That was Jumbo Reddick, who is just a sophomore, in there on the hit.
Well, you see he had a real good push from his defensive line position and pushed his man right into the backfield. And kind of surprised that Lindenwold on that 3rd down play didn't take advantage of the wide side of the field, tried to run into that strong line that they really had little success running against.
Miguel Maldonado Ardon in to kick. He'll be punting about his own 25-yard line. Sterling stands back. I believe that's Potts at his own 35. It's 4th and a little longer than 5. It's close. Oh, this is a terrible snap.
Terrible snap. And
this is going to be trouble. And fumbling the ball, Sterling's going to pick it up inside the 10 as it's picked up by Nemo Butler-Mayhew. When things rain, it pours, I guess, if you're Lindenwold. The kicker had no shot at that one.
And that's one thing that's consistent in all the years we've been covering high school football is teams that are struggling have problems with the snap. We know we've seen in the last year, Sterling had a lot of problems with their snap, and that one wasn't even close, and obviously it puts Lindenwold in a real tight spot here.
Morgan, the lone setback. It's 1st and goal inside the 10. 5.5 minutes to go first quarter. Thompson wants to take it himself, and he's going to go down at the 1. I'm surprised I even see him running today, knowing that he came up the broken collarbone. But
yeah, not something you would expect, and obviously Lindenwold didn't have anybody. Might have been an audible. He saw there was an opening. Nobody was really over the center.
2nd and goal. They're going to try it again.
Calls his own numbers.
Hits a pounding, and he does get in. It looked like he followed behind Reddick, and a little surprising that you'd have him do that. But again, he's fully cleared to go. That's up to him.
Ready to go, and pounds it in, and just like that, early on here, Sterling's really taking it to this outmanned Lindenwold squad.
That's Thompson's first rushing touchdown of the season. He will go for the extra point. Sterling up 12-0. Kick is high enough, and this one is good. 5:06 to go here in the first quarter. Sterling leads at 12-0 here on Sterling TV 19.
Yeah, just really doing it on both sides of the ball. And, guys, I think it starts with what they've been able to do up front on the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively. You can see defensively they're gaining great penetration. You saw Jumbo Reddick manhandle his man into the offensive backfield and then make the tackle. And then, obviously, on the offensive side of the ball, giving Maya Thompson a lot of time and giving the backs a lot of time and allowing Sterling to use the multiple weapons that they have on offense.
The upcoming schedule for Sterling has them next Friday at Haddonfield, the following Friday at Willingboro, the following Saturday at Paulsboro. 3 very difficult games once they can get through this one tonight. And so far, it looks like things are going their way, up 13-0 with 5:06 to play.
And part of being a successful program and becoming a good team is practicing hard and taking care of business in games like this, which, let's face it, this is a trap game between the West Deptford and the Haddonfield game next week. And so far, Sterling has really come up and done what they had to do here.
Sterling into kickoff. They lead it 13-0. Again, 5:06 to go here in the first quarter. Believe this is Jameer Richardson kicking it off. Short kick in front of the back line. Takes a hop. They come to near side of the field, and what a big tackle there. Xavier Miller, the sophomore, on the hit.
And, Tad, we will say it again, you saw Miller just break through right there. But this has been one staple of this Sterling team, in addition to what they've done on offense and defense, is their coverage on special teams, on the kickoffs and on the punts. Just been very disciplined, coming down in their lanes, and Miller just breaks through there and makes a big open field tackle.
5:02 to go, first quarter. Lindenwold with a 1st and 10 from their own 21. Shotgun formation, send a man in motion. Fake it, quarterback going to keep it, and maybe back the original line of scrimmage. I saw Dylan Herbert was in there. Rich Toussaint back there, a bunch of white shirts, a loss of about a yard.
Well, you're just seeing total domination across that front. You know, usually you count on your defensive linemen to hold up the offensive line. You'll have the linebackers come up and become the run stoppers. But here you're seeing a defensive line. It's not only holding up the offensive line, they're shedding, and they're making the tackles, gaining great penetration into the offensive backfield.
It really, like I said, it's just been Sterling's defense able to get through the offensive line, able to shed those tackles, able to get to that runner or even get to that quarterback.
Second down and 11, 4:15 to go first quarter. Sterling leading at 13-0. Voss up the middle on the stop again. Dylan Herbert came from the left defensive side and made the initial stop. They might have lost another yard.
And Sterling's really taking it to him, not only dominating up front, but you saw them bring Herbert in there and a little bit of a blitz around the outside, gaining additional penetration, having another body getting in there. I think right now, if you're Lindenwold, boy, you want to try to get to the outside, or even if you have any shot of throwing the ball, do that, because you've got to keep this Sterling defense honest, because right now with all the running, they're creeping up, and you really don't have much room to do anything from the standpoint of a running game.
Eric Shipley also doing a good job as the nose guard, lining up on the ball. Shotgun formation for Bonilla. And there's another bad snap. They're going to jump on it inside the 5. As jumping on it there was Busby. And that's going to bring on the punt team, as it's going to be 4th and about 30.
Well, when you're getting the penetration that they're getting, shotgun's a great idea, because the quarterback is right there. He can get the ball and look at the coverage right away. Unfortunately, if you're not able to get him to snap, what's going to happen is what just happened right there. And obviously this is a very tough start of a game for this Lindenwold offense.
Maldonado Aldarn, will be punting inside his own end zone. 2:37 and counting, first quarter. Sterling up 13-0. Back is Trey Potts at the 35-yard line of Lindenwold. Bad snap here is an automatic safety. Get a good snap. Get a nice kick off. Potts going to get it about his own 30 with a little bit of room. To his right, he's got some speed across the 20, down at about the 15-yard line, almost to the 10. Tremendous field position for the Silver Knights.
And again, we saw this in the West Defford game, where Sterling kind of struggled with West Defford because of the punter, able to back them into their own end. Now, Sterling's not facing West Defford, they're facing Lindenwold, but again, always good field position, always you see Sterling do well.
See if they come out with a pass here, Kevin. Lining up wide left is Valeriano, because you're not going to get too many more pass opportunities as this game goes on.
No.
Pass right side this time. This is Potts. Potts cuts it ahead, and Potts is in for the touchdown. So a 5-yard pass from Thompson to Potts, and Sterling increases the lead.
And the nice thing about this, you can gradually increase the lead and maybe get yourself into the second half where you can give the starters a break and just get them ready for next week. So it's gone, again, as well as Sterling's planned, and they've come out and give them credit, taking care of business and doing what they have to do in a trap game situation.
Thompson in for the extra point. Line drive kick, and he gets it through. 2:09 to go here in the first quarter. It's been all Knights thus far. They lead it 20-0.
John, you brought the trivia questions, right? John, don't tell me you didn't bring the trivia questions.
I can look some up real quick,
okay.
I guess.
All right, while we're waiting, I want to let you know the upcoming schedule here on Channel 19. Again, we're attempting on Monday to bring you, even though we're off school, we're trying to bring you the soccer game, Haddon Heights boys versus Sterling. Now, we won't be broadcasting a game tomorrow, but the girls' soccer team, I think it's either 10 or 11 o'clock, is playing a team called Holmdel. Holmdel, I'm told, is one of the top 5 ranked teams in the state.
Wow.
So a real good tune-up. Again, that game will not be on Channel 19, but if you're looking for something to do, maybe go out and check that out. So Monday we'll be back. We're pretty much with a full schedule into the football game away at Haddonfield next Friday.
That's a good measuring stick to tell you where you are right now. Obviously, you talk about girls soccer, boys soccer, football, volleyball. We're having one of the better fall seasons that we've had in a long time.
Yeah, you're talking about a girls and boys soccer team each have not lost to this point in the season. So Sterling into kickoff, 2:09 to go here, first quarter. They lead it 20-0. Jameer Richardson into kick. We have a Dallas Carter back to receive a kick here.
Okay.
He's on the far side. Let's see if we can get it his way. Nope. It's going to go into the end zone for a touchback. Dallas Carter is a sophomore, number 7 for Lindenwold, so they will take over 1st and 10. 2:09 to go here, first quarter. Knights up 20-0.
Lions ball at the 20-yard line.
And Sterling's been on the other side of the ball too, Kevin, so they know what this is all about.
And as recently as last year, Tad, I'll talk about our going down to Paulsboro, and where we were short people. We had people that were injured, and boy, it was like a very good varsity team going against the JV team. So, like you said, it hasn't been that long ago where Sterling definitely knows what it feels like to be down in a game like this early on.
Trips to the near side of the field for Bonilla on 1st and 10. Bonilla rolls to his right. Going to keep it himself, and he's going to be thrown down by J.J. Berry, a sophomore. Actually, he's at number 6, I believe. That might have been Nemo Butler-Mayhew.
And the problem there is, obviously, they're getting great penetration up front, but you also have a couple linebackers you brought in there to blitz because you've got confidence in your defensive backs in a one-on-one situation if they go to the pass. And you could see he really, even if there was an option to throw the ball, had no time to set his feet and get rid of it.
I do have some trivia, but not high school trivia. It's going to be some NFL trivia.
All right, we'll get to that in between quarters here. It's 2nd down and 10 for Lindenwold. Bonilla straight back. Gets a pass off. It sailed, a dangerous one there, as it could have been intercepted. You saw Atkins jumping up and down.
And had the receiver open, I don't know, there was definitely a miscommunication. It looked like Atkins stopped and thought he was going to go. But if you're going to get passes, they're going to be that variety where you take a 2-step drop and you've got to get rid of it right away. It's going to be a short pass, but again, you've got to get rid of it instantly because of the pressure that they're facing from the strong defensive line and the linebackers.
3rd down and 10 for Lindenwold from their own 20. They split the wideouts, 2 to each side. Shotgun is Bonilla. Bonilla looking far side. Pretty good coverage there. Jump ball, it's knocked down. Real good coverage on the play by Andrew V.
And he's really looking right there for a flag, and I don't know, it seemed pretty fair to me.
Yeah, it was just a situation. You have both of them, both bodies bumping, going for the ball, and that's a good no call there.
Punt team on again for Lindenwold as Potts drops back to about the 48-yard line of Lindenwold as Maldonado Ardon goes back to punt. 1:11 to go first quarter. Sterling up 20-0. Been a beautiful night out here at Lindenwold. Punt is off, going near side of the field, won't be returned. Going to bounce about the 40 and go out of bounds at the 40. So 1:03 to go, first quarter. Sterling leads it 20-0.
Yeah, not a bad job of Maldonado Ardon getting rid of that punt because obviously he's under a lot of pressure and looked like he got pressure from his left side, kind of turned his body and just got something on the ball. And that's all you want to do in that situation, just get it off. And probably, it sounds crazy to say, but Sterling right now has their worst field position of this first quarter on the Lindenwold 40-yard line.
Makai Morgan in the backfield with Thompson. Here's Morgan. Morgan still on his feet, pushes ahead, still on his feet. Morgan across the 25 and a gain of about 16.
Morgan on the carry.
Well, one of the multiple weapons that you have here. You know, we talk about Sterling now having their passing game enhanced, but Morgan, Trey Potts.
1st and 10. Try Morgan again. By one. By another. Very patient. Straight ahead. Give him 11 and another first down.
Great individual effort by Morgan. A couple make people miss cuts right there. Lindenwold looked like they might have shot one of the gaps or blitzed. Were able to get penetration. Got into the backfield, but a great job by Morgan of making the defenders miss.
1st and 10. Sterling. Thompson wants to throw. It is caught close and into the end zone for the touchdown is Deuce Everett. So Everett scores to make it 26-0 Sterling.
Well, just a quick slant to Everett, and you had a receiver go to the outside. Everett had the slant going to the middle, and in the defensive backfield, Lindenwold was just in a state of disarray, and Maya Thompson put the ball on the money.
Unofficially, Kevin, I have Deuce Everett as there's Kenneth Everett. All right, so Kenneth Everett, we call him Deuce. That's his 5th catch and his 1st touchdown. Extra point, a line driver, and that is hooked wide left. We have 14 seconds to play here in the 1st quarter. It's been all Sterling. They lead it 26-0.
And the thing about it, as you get going in this game, the one downside to this is that, you know, you're throwing the ball right now, but you're going to get to a situation where you probably won't be able to work on those downfield throws that could be a factor next week in the Haddonfield game. Obviously, you know, when you're up by a lot, you don't want to go for the big play. But, I mean, just getting Maya Thompson out there, getting them into a rhythm, making the short throws right there, I think it's going to go a long way in getting this team ready, and in particular getting Maya Thompson ready to get the passing game going next week against Haddonfield.
And again, one thing that I've really seen right there from Sterling from Morgan was that you see in that one West Effort game, he waited for an opening to happen. He waited, and then as soon as he saw that opening, took it full speed ahead and got that one touchdown that was really important for Sterling, and I think probably was one of the bigger touchdowns that Sterling needed.
And making people miss when you have people in your face in the backfield, that's something you can't teach. You just have an innate ability to do that. And Morgan, as you said, John, definitely is able to do that.
Jameer Richardson into kickoff for Sterling. May have to ice his foot down after this one on these kickoffs. Already the 1st quarter, 14 seconds to go. Sterling up 26-0. Goes far side. Here we go. Dallas Carter to pick it up. Carter across the 20, across the 25. Carter still on his feet. Dallas Carter, the same name as one of our coaches at Sterling. Going to get out to the 35. Lindenwold 1st and 10.
Taking bodies with him, looking like the Sterling Dallas Carter.
And if you're not familiar who he is, if you ever come to the front office, Dallas Carter is the young man who greets you at the door.
That's right. We were talking about playing we used to play on the scout team, and he was a big body down low on the scout basketball team.
Big.
You would definitely not want to run into him.
No.
For sure.
Big man. So Busby and Shavas in the backfield with Bonilla. Final 5 seconds here, the 1st quarter. From the 35, 1st and 10. Bonilla wants to keep it himself. Gets by one, but that's about it. As Jameer Richardson in there, initially to set there, they're going to lose about 6. And that is going to do it for the 1st quarter. So 1 quarter in the books here from Lindenwold. It's been all the Silver Knights. They lead it 26-0.
End of the 1st quarter.
Just continued domination here on a real nice night. Great weather. Unbelievable field out there. Again, we were out there beforehand, and this field is really in great shape. You go out towards the center, there aren't any of those real worn out hard spots, and that's always good, especially, I think both teams right now, you're in the middle of the season, you have some nagging injuries, and you just want to come out of this game healthy. There's no question about that.
And honestly, Sterling's really showing it.
Well, you said you had trivia time.
yeah.
Now's the time.
In 1993, what NFL team made offseason trades for Joe Montana and Marcus Allen?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Mr. Schulz nailing it.
Yeah, that is right. Kansas City.
Is that all you have, John? Is that
No,
all you
no,
got?
no,
Is that
no,
all
no,
you
no,
got?
no, no. What team was originally named the New York Titans?
Jets.
Wow.
2-0 is Mr. Schulz.
Okay, this one's going to be an easy one. What team won 3 Super Bowls in the 1990s?
Cowboys.
4-0.
Maybe you need more time to get some other ones. They were
Okay,
easy ones, John.
okay, fine. How about this? Here's a little bit more of a difficult one. Who was the first player to rush for 1,000 yards in a season?
I'm going to say Jim Brown.
Nope.
That's a tough one.
John's all excited. He's excited. I got that one wrong.
First one, you got to give him maybe a year at least. That's it.
He is one of the options, but he was not the first.
Hugh McElhenney.
What?
Hugh McElhenney, H-U-G-H.
Nope, not him.
Second down and 15 as we start the second quarter. The band definitely plays here. Pass is off and knocked down. They tried to get the pass off for Collins. As we are, if you can't figure it out, we are standing more or less right behind the band and the drummers. So we're very aware of everything they're doing. Do you give them another hint there, Wiggles?
Okay. Here is your options. Betty Feathers.
Steve Van Buren, was he one of them?
Steve Van Burn is one of them. Joe Perry, and then Jim Brown.
Okay. All right, well, you got Brown.
You got Brown and Van Buren. The other ones I hadn't heard of.
Third down and 15 here for Lindenwold. Ball is sitting just shy of the 30. Sterling with a big lead already in this one, 26-0. 2 wideouts near side, 2 wideouts far side. Bonilla from the shotgun. Send a man in motion. Man in motion has the ball. This looks like Collins, and Collins runs into a brick wall. Initially in there was Dylan Herbert doing a real nice job today. Also Butler Mayhew.
Well, we talked a lot about what's going on up front and the domination from tackle to tackle, but when you see that type of pursuit and that many defenders coming to the ball and getting upfield, it just shows you how Sterling's just on another level.
That's Jason Chavas, who is down on the play, one of the leading blockers. It's going to be 4th down and long, almost 4th and 20, as we're in the second period with Sterling with a 26-0 lead at the moment here from Lindenwold. Again, reminding you of our TV schedule. We're looking to go Monday afternoon on our day off live with the boys soccer game against Haddon Heights. We'll have some other games throughout the week as well. And then, of course, next Friday, 7 o'clock start, Haddonfield Sterling. And it's been a few years, Kevin, since Sterling's had a chance to beat Haddonfield as well.
No, I think if what last week showed you is that Sterling is going to be competitive with all the tougher teams on the schedule that they weren't competitive with over the last few years when you're talking about, as you said, Tad, Haddonfield, Willingboro, Paulsboro. Out there is the last game of the season.
So Sterling, if they can put some more wins together, they're looking at the possibility of a home playoff game, which we haven't seen in a while as well. But again, a lot still has to happen, like you mentioned, with teams like Haddonfield, Willingboro, and Paulsboro. Just so you know, Haddonfield is 3-2, but their win last week was against Delran, who beat Sterling. But you might say, okay, when Sterling played Delran, we were missing a lot of our key players.
It was a different type of game. Yeah, I feel like Sterling would have made it a totally different game if you had the personnel in there that you're going to have against Haddonfield next week.
Potts is back at Sterling's 40-yard line. Maldonado O'Darn in to kick. He's going to kick at about his own 15. Gets a good snap. Short kick. Going to bounce at about the 50-yard line. Potts going to let it go, and it goes on the 47-yard line on Sterling's side of the field, where they'll take over 1st and 10 with 11:14 to play here in the first half.
And I think what's on display tonight on the offensive side of the ball is the domination up front. You're going to have a great inside running game when you're looking at this Sterling offense. The ability to get the ball to the outside, get around the outside, win the battle or the race around the edge, and also the ability to to get the ball to multiple weapons. So that's why, again, when you look at Sterling next week, and not only against Haddonfield, but against Haddonfield there, where you're going to go on the turf, and Sterling can really utilize the speed that they have.
From the shotgun, Thompson has a couple of friends on each side of him. 1st and 10, just shy of midfield. Morgan will take it. Boy, Morgan, a nice cut out here. Goes around the edge, across midfield. He's going to get the first down before he is pushed out of bounds.
Tad and John, we had a great look at that push of the offensive line. You saw the entire offensive line of Sterling go forward and Lindenwold go back about 5 yards. Morgan really didn't come up on anybody until he was like 6 yards downfield.
They're going to say second down at about the length of a football. Well, not anymore. There's a first down, pushing some more. Contact at the 35, a first down and a gain of about 9.
I'm not thinking the Sterling starters are going to really play too deep into this second half.
Shotgun formation for Thompson. Morgan to his left. Morgan following some big blockers in front. There's a real nice stop after a gain of about 6 or 7. Looked like he had a chance to get some more.
And Morgan's like a lot of the backs that Sterling has, in that he's elusive. We saw the defenders get on him in the backfield. He made a couple people miss back at the end of that first quarter, but he also can cut as he gets a few yards in the defensive backfield. More importantly, can take people with him. Very strong runner. Stays low and drives ahead.
Here's Morgan again, a first down carry here, across the 20, across the 10, and brought down at about the 8-yard line. It was a touchdown-saving tackle by Michael Busby.
And honestly, one thing I really like about Morgan is patience. He waits for an opening and then goes straight through it.
And we're looking at it. The Lindenwold team is just out, man.
First and goal from about the 8. Man in motion is Potts. And a flag flies. Might have movement against Sterling. And that'll cost them 5. It'll still be first and goal, but on the other side of the 10. If you haven't figured it out, if you're just tuning in, Sterling a big lead, and yes, we're about 10 feet away from the drum section. It's an active band. You got to give the band credit. They brought their air game tonight. 9:30 and counting to play first half. It's been all Sterling. They lead it 26-0. First and goal, just outside the 10. Thompson from the shotgun. Looking in the end zone. Man, there it is, caught. And in the end zone for the touchdown is Deuce Everett. That is his second touchdown of the game, and Sterling increases the lead.
And that was just that quick slant, John, right down the middle. Second time we've seen them go to Deuce Everett on that play.
And honestly, what a great catch right there for him. A little bit, he almost looked like he was about to drop it. He looked like it was about to get out of his hands, but able to bring it in and scored the touchdown right there. And also a great job right there from Jeremiah Thompson to able to pick up, still have enough time to be able to throw that ball. And of course, credit to the offensive line.
Yeah,
Thompson for the extra point. Line drive kick, a good one here as it goes through. Sterling increases their lead. So how about this for Thompson thus far? He has thrown 4 touchdown passes tonight already, and we still have 9 minutes to go in the first half.
Can I have him in my fantasy team?
You better get him on there. That would have been a good pick for sure, John.
And, boy, you have to feel good for Jeremiah Thompson, because, Tad, how many times in the last couple of years have we seen him just not have a chance to throw? But in this situation, you see how accurate he is with his ability to now have time and set his feet and get rid of it.
So 9:09 to go, first half. It's been all Sterling. They lead it 33-0. As we mentioned, 4 touchdown passes thus far for Thompson.
Side judges Mark Lavallo.
I'll give him 6 on the year.
On the clock is John Scholl.
So Sterling to kick off. And what happens here in the second half when you go up 35? They run the clock continuously, and we are heading for that area here tonight.
And honestly, the 4 years that I have been here, I really have not seen Sterling do that. I've seen that done them against them.
Sure.
But honestly, this is a totally new Sterling team, and they're having a magnificent season.
Yeah, this is probably the best Sterling team they've had since back in 2017, where they went 8-2. Speaking of Haddonfield, that's also the last time they beat Haddonfield in that game down at Cherry Hill West when they were having their stadium redone.
Another game that was on turf.
Yes, you're right.
Coming up here.
Thank you.
So Sterling into kickoff with Jameer Richardson. Coming up near side, bouncing off a face mask and jumping on it was Dallas Carter, and covering him was X Miller. Fortunate there that didn't bounce too far away from him. So 9:02 to go in the first half. Lindenwold will take over first and 10, down 33-0. Lindenwold coming in 1-4 into the season. Their one win was against Gloucester Catholic. They won that game 22-20. So from the 20, first and 10. And looks like we have someone else new in the backfield. I believe that's Craig. Let's see. Now he lines up as a slot back. Busby, the lone setback. Man in motion. Give it to the man in motion. Able to get around the corner. This is Collins. Collins pushed out of bounds after a gain of about 8 or 9.
By number 5, Keyshawn Collins.
Under 9 minutes to go, first half. Sterling up 33-0. It'll be 2nd and 2.
And the other thing that's good about having a game like this, again, where you might be able to come out a little bit early, is after a very physical game last week, a tough game against West Deptford, you might have some nagging injuries, you get them to heal, and again, go into the Haddonfield game healthy. At this point, that's the most important thing now with, the win seemingly in hand.
Busby tries to get around his right corner, not able to do it as Jameer Richardson in there on the stop.
And honestly, this was a very good game for Jeremiah Thompson to come back and gives him a lot of confidence. You test a lot of things into this game, and you feel a lot confident knowing that he can throw the ball.
Lindenwold calls timeout with 8:34 to go here in the first half. Sterling leading at 33-0. Everything going their way thus far. As we're coming off an outstanding Spirit Week last week. Crowning of a new homecoming queen. Always a very interesting time around the school. Pretty interesting for you, I'm sure, John, as a senior, able to participate in a senior week this year.
It was very interesting. Of course, I tried winning Mr. Sterling. Did not win, but hey, I still had. It was fun. It was very fun. It was great.
Now, Mr. Schultz, did you happen to see his talent?
It was the puppet.
That was all. I'll tell you what, John, that was outstanding. Mr. Farr is very hard to impress and give a compliment, and he was like, that was pretty good. It was what, Endless Love you did with the two puppets, and you were the referee in the middle. That was really well done. I was impressed.
How long did you practice, John?
I don't remember.
3 years, maybe?
He was working his entire career at Sterling for that moment. 3rd and 5. Rolling on it here is Bonilla, and he is thrown to the ground. Rich Tissette, the junior. They're going to lose 5 more. Tissette's a guy we've called his number quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, Tissette and Jameer Richardson are the guys on the outside that not only have the size, but they do a good job containing things on the outside against some speedy runners, and we definitely had that last week against West Deptford. And when you have that combination of size and speed, you can stop them coming running right at you and avoid them getting around the corner.
Maldonado Ardon is going to kick from his own 10. Potts stands at the 45 of Lindenwold. This might be blocked. Good job to pull that back. That was a major league pullback there by Ardon. Potts going to pick it up at the 42, and he is tackled immediately on the play by Trayshawn Jones. What a heads-up play by the punter.
I'll give credit, and we'll go back to saying we said we've been in this situation before. In a lot of those games, with those long snaps. There was times we had Trey Potts punting, and one good thing about Potts was the fact that he could ad-lib and get rid of balls like that, but Ardon, you look at him with his size, you wouldn't think he could make the play that he made right there, but hey, give credit to that kid for adjusting, sensing what was going on in front of him, and just getting rid of that one.
Nemo Butler Mayhew, the sophomore, now in the backfield with Thompson. 1st and 10. Butler Mayhew follows a block, gets the edge, going to get the first down, still on his feet, across the 40, down at the 36, a gain of nearly 20.
And right there, able to shed through tackles. And then again, it's just been offensively that they've been able to get those key blocks, able to give him room, and then he's just able to do with the rest. Giving the running backs the open field that they need, and let them do what they do best.
Butler Mayhew again up the middle, pulled down from behind after a gain of about 4. He was run down by Craig from behind.
Yeah, John, I like the physicality of our backs. And, obviously in this game, it's not a huge factor, you're ahead, but you get a game against a tight team, a tight game against a very good team, you want to wear down defenses. And you can do that with the job the line does up front, but also with backs who are punishing the defenses, and that's what we have.
2nd down and 7, flag flies. It's going to go against Sterling and cost them 5.
Trey Potts right there went a little too early right there.
We'll move him back 5 yards.
6:46 remaining first half. It's been all Silver Knights. They lead it 33-0. 4 touchdown passes in this game for Thompson, returning at quarterback. They've had everything offensively, running and passing, whatever they wanted. Low snap, picked up by Mayhew. Mayhew not going to get very far. He's going to get a yard or 2 as he's taken down in the play there by Jameer Mitchell, a freshman.
Going with that no huddle offense, really trying to wear down this defense.
3rd down and 8. Butler Mayhew tries the left side again. It's going to get out to the 30, leave him 3 or 4 shy of the first down. And obviously Sterling will go in this situation. No huddle. 4th, and we'll call it 3.
Let's hear it for the defense.
Low shotgun again. They're going to pass. Man wide open. It's caught. And into the end zone is Potts. He goes in from 30 yards out, and Sterling increases the lead. The 5th touchdown of the game for Thompson.
Now Thompson setting the feet, putting the ball right on the money. And you figured this was the game for him to get his timing down, but boy, he came right into the game and had the same time he had since he's been injured. Really hasn't missed a beat.
For Trey Potts, his third touchdown reception of the season. Thompson for the extra point, trying to make it an even 40.
I don't think this one's
delay a
Thompson
game.
this time. I don't think Potts.
All right, we're going to go. This will be Dylan Herbert in to kick. I'll give him a rest. He can ice his foot down later. So Herbert in to kick. Mayo in to hold it. Guess that one must have gone against Lindenwold. Offensively, Sterling doing everything right. High snap. Good luck on this one. Picked up and gets by 1. And just as I said, everything going right. That did not go right.
That's something I would say.
There you go. I was the kiss of death right there. Yep. 5:46 to go here. First half, Sterling leads this one 39-0. Wow, for me, it's my first time getting to announce in a while, and boy, whew, a lot of points for Sterling tonight.
We need you back here.
Oh, man, maybe. Yeah, I'll be back with this next week for the Haddonfield game.
Well, the one thing in looking at this game and talk about the physicality on the lines with the backs, defensively, how they're getting up the field and really taking it to Lindenwold. It tells you that all the time that Sterling's put in the weight room and getting these kids to buy in, to coming in the off season, is really paying off and paying dividends right now. And again, that's the type of thing that'll even pay more dividends when you move forward and go against some of these tougher teams when you're talking about Haddonfield in Willingboro.
So 5:46 to go here in the first half. Sterling doing everything that they want offensively thus far. As they come in to kick off. I guess the goal here now is to get out healthy. As you can say, you're getting ready for next week now.
Yep. Yeah, that would be.
And Sterling did have a number of injuries coming into this game, Kevin.
And I think they were of the nagging variety. You know, something that's going to happen when you come off a very physical game against a tough West Deptford team.
So Sterling into kickoff. Looks like Dallas Carter is the lone setback. Just fun for me to say that. Richardson into kickoff. This is going to bounce well in front of Carter. Carter picks it up. Coming to the near side, gets a hole, finds a seam. The kicker on him, fumbles the ball. Sterling picks it up. So Sterling recovers the ball. Recovered on the play by Deuce Effort as the kicker, Richardson, knocked it out of his hands.
And that shows you, we talk about Jameer Richardson and his ability to be physical, but also have the quickness in the open field to take down Carter and also strip the ball. Just shows you the type of athlete Jameer Richardson is.
That was a heck of a run by Carter to start, John.
That was. You thought for a minute that Carter was going to break away, maybe score a touchdown right there, but Jameer Richardson able to get that tackle, able to knock the ball loose. And we also talk about ball security, how important that is, and something like that you don't want to see as a Lindenwold fan. That was probably your biggest play right there so far in this game.
And that's the other thing we're seeing a lot this year. We've had some interceptions. There's been some fumbles. You see the fumble in the open field. Sterling's doing a real good job winning the takeaway battle. You could see a lot of times, and that wasn't one where you had a second man coming in. It was just a great job in the open field of Richardson making the tackle on the strip. But there's a lot of times on defense where you see the second man in go for the ball and create a turnover.
Collins was the man injured. He comes off the field. He is a freshman. Lindenwold will have the ball, their own 35, 1st and 10, 5.5 minutes to play here as the clock will run in the second half now. Now, originally the rule back a few years ago had it once you had 35, you run it regardless of where you are in the game, but now we're in the second half. So we'll see what happens here. Sterling, 1st and 10. Going to pass. And a big hit, and down on the play is a nice hit in by Jaden Smith, the freshman. And fortunately for Sterling, Thompson gets up because that's the last thing you want to see in that situation.
Yeah, and somehow Smith just looked like he came in untouched from the outside from this near side.
That'll bring up 2nd and 10.
2nd down and 10 for Sterling from the 35. Thompson from the shotgun. This is Morgan. Morgan shot like a cannon right up the middle, runs over another man inside the 10. It's going to be a gain of 30 and a 1st down.
And again, it's just straight down the middle. He waits for that opening. He goes straight through it, and he makes players miss.
I think one word that can tell you about their backs, whether it's Morgan, Mayhew Butler, or Trey Potts, is explosiveness.
Try it again. 1st and goal. Trying to get around the edge. He will do it easily as Morgan scores from 9 yards out. For Morgan, that's touchdown number 6.
Rushes to the left. Gets it. It's another nice touchdown.
So add 6 more. It's now 45-0 here in the first half.
And I don't think we're going to be seeing much of these starters once Sterling gets into the
second half
of this game.
Dylan Herbert in for the extra point try for Sterling. Just as the Lindenwold fans were getting excited on that run back by Carter, the fumble and the turnover leads to what could be 7 if this goes through, and it does. 5 minutes to play here in the first half. Silver Knights lead it 46-0. A tremendous game thus far. Reminder, that girls game we were talking about, they've added to the schedule. We won't be broadcasting it, but the girls will be playing a game at 10 o'clock in soccer tomorrow. They're playing against Homedale, who is one of the top 5 teams in the state in girls soccer.
I'm not 100% sure, but I heard this from Lomas that the team that they're facing is actually top 3. They're ranked number 3.
So, top 3, top 5, that's who they're seeing tomorrow in a great tune-up game. If you want to see a good girls soccer game, that will be tomorrow, 10 o'clock at home at Sterling.
And I think when you look at both boys and girls teams, one thing that comes to mind is how they're complete teams. They defend well on the back end. They're tough in the midfield, and they're able to finish.
They certainly do.
Well, the only time Sterling has not scored is against that West Effort game. That game ended in a draw. That game went into 2 overtime periods, and still no one came out as a winner right there. That is.
Well, we will have the rematch of that game in a few weeks at home. In that week, Sterling's going to play West Deptford and Haddonfield. That'll be on our field, home with the TV truck, Channel 19. That'll be in a few weeks from now. Sterling to kick off. Nice kick here. Craig across the 20. Craig gets around the edge, finds some speed, cuts it ahead. Craig out to the 46-yard line on a real nice return. Craig just a freshman as well.
Well, one of the few times this year, I'm sure there's probably some younger guys in there now, that on the last 2 returns, teams have actually had decent returns against the Sterling coverage team.
So from the 46, it'll be 1st and 10 for Lindenwold. It's been all Sterling in this one. You hang around at the end, Mr. Schulz, we're going to send him down the field for a post-game show, so that gives you a reason to stand by. We haven't had really a chance to talk to any of the players this year, but we're going to give it a shot tonight. 1st and 10 from the 46. Bonilla wants to throw. This ball's up for grabs, and that should be pass interference, you would think. As that was
got lucky.
If I was showing a video of pass interference, Andrew Vi tackled Lamar Greed. You can't quite say he was going for the ball because his hands were kind of on a jersey.
I mean, that far one that we had, that was incidental in the first quarter, but that was a little more clear-cut.
Maybe the referee had a little bit of different angle than us, but from up here, that was 2 hands on a jersey. 2nd down and 10 from the 46. You hear the crowd in front of us. Bonilla gets it off. This is picked off.
Right, I think that
near
was
side. Here's Mayo. Mayo might return this. He is going to return it. 52 yards on an interception as Sterling piling on the points tonight.
Well, Mayo was in the right spot, just stepped up, and I wouldn't say he had a clear field, but he had a lot of Sterling guys on defense leading the way for him to go in easily for the touchdown.
Honestly, I know how much that meant for Mayo. I have him in my first block, and I've been talking to him about this game, and he said that they were going to have a very, as they would put it, an easy game. And honestly, it's great to see him to have that touchdown. He's definitely going to be talking about that Tuesday, of course.
I'm sure. You're going to be interviewing him in the classroom, right?
So how did that first touchdown feel for you?
He had to do some running, that's for sure. Well, he gets the hold here as the kick for Herbert. Trying to make it 53-0. That kick is up. That kick is good. 4 minutes, 1 second to play here in the first half. Sterling leads it 53-0. And Kevin, this is my 17th season of Sterling, and I can tell you they have not scored 53 points in the 17 years in the first half in my time here.
I don't know if they've had any games where they've scored.
We'll check at halftime. Yeah, we'll check. It's been a while. I don't think I've seen them in a 60-point game in a long time. It's just a tough situation, right? Everything's going their way.
And for the most part, they're doing it. You had a few short passes, but they're not throwing big downfield. They're just, it's just two teams on two different levels right now.
And again, as John mentioned, John, we've been in this situation. You're a senior here. You've seen a lot of games from the other side.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of great that you finally get to experience something like this. It's not nice feeling when it's against your team, but I mean, it's just nice to see.
So Sterling up 53-0. We have 4 minutes, 1 second to go here in the first half. You put Mr. K on the air, you get points.
That's right.
So far, I brought us 53 in my first broadcast on the air.
Just get us at least 50 next week and we'll be good.
Just 50 and we're good. I'll work on it. I'll get a good workout in during the week.
The Mr. K magic.
That's right. Mr. Strauss couldn't be here today because his tennis team that he coaches was having senior day, and they had a lot of activities surrounding that. So I got to pinch in for a couple runs tonight. Sterling in to kick off. Good run back by Craig the last time. It's going Craig's way. Craig from the 15. Comes to a near side return, cuts it ahead. And now he will go up the middle of the field, finds his seam again as he gets out to the 35. Craig with some nifty running there.
And again, right there, you see right there, he looks, he waits for his blockers to block for him. And honestly, that's why they get such great openings, is that they wait for the blockers to set up, and honestly, they find room, and they do the rest.
And I think Sterling right now is getting some younger guys in on that coverage team. That's why you're seeing some gaps there going to the outside. But, yeah, not a bad run on the return.
From the 35 for Lindenwold, 1st and 10. Busby the lone setback with Bonilla. Bonilla junior, Busby a senior. Busby, he gets the line of scrimmage, and that's as far as he's going to go as he runs into Jameer Richardson.
Well, after this week, like we said, you really have a pretty tough run when you're talking about Haddonfield, Willingboro, and I believe Colesboro was right after that.
Yep, on the road.
Off the season.
Friday, Saturday, yep. All on the road. That's why we had to have our homecoming week so early this year, is that the last 4 games were away. 3 minutes to play here, first half, 1st and 10. I believe that's Shepard in the backfield with Busby. Busby, far side, gets by 2 men. Oh, and he is hit very, very hard on the play by Deuce Everett. They're going to lose about 4.
Michael Busby runs to the right.
Now you see Everett coming into this game. Has been a starter from the side as a sophomore. And has a couple of touchdown receptions, but has also been doing a job on defense. A lot of speed, and obviously from what you see right there, has the ability to come up and be a run stopper.
3rd down and 15, 2:12 remaining here in the first half. It's been all Sterling in this one. Kendall Shepard into the backfield with Bonilla. Bonilla is going to take a quarterback draw, and in on that play again is Dylan Herbert. Also, you saw running through there was Richardson. It's going to be 4th and long.
One thing I like about Sterling's chances against some of these better teams is what we just talked about, the speed that they have and the multiple weapons with that speed. Speed on both sides of the ball. You know, obviously, you get somebody in space, you can make big things happen on offense. But also in defense, you feel confident having these defensive backs in a one-on-one situation, which really can open you up for a lot of other things that you're able to do in defense in the way of stunts and blitzes.
Maldonado Ardon to kick around his own 20-yard line. Potts back at the 45 of Sterling. Good job to get the snap. That's nearly blocked again. Potts going to get a chance to run this one back across midfield. Cuts far side across the 40. has some room in front of him. Potts still on his feet, gets by another. Potts is going into the end zone for the touchdown from 52 yards out. Trey Potts returns a punt.
And you saw some speed there, but you also saw Trey Potts' ability to read the blocks and adjust to what was going on in front of him.
And again, it's really what goes down to is just awareness on where everyone is, what's going to happen, and he just makes quick decisions. And honestly, it's just great to see from him.
So add a few more for Sterling, as I'm trying to figure out what the score is myself here. Is Herbert will take the extra point, high snap, and the kick is good. 43 seconds remaining in the first half. Sterling leads it 60-0. First half.
And, you know, there's been some short passes, but it's not like they've gone up top for big plays.
No.
They're just running the ball up the middle, and, you know, from a sportsmanship standpoint, doing all the right things. And, you know, like I said, we've been on the other side of it, and we've seen some things done to us that probably wasn't
we've seen some passes,
right,
going deep.
Sportsmanship way of thinking, for a lack of a better way of saying it.
Again, we'll go to halftime. There's a couple things. We'll be live here at halftime. If the band performs, we'll let you hear that. Otherwise, we might have the mics down slightly. Second half, we'll be running clock, so the game will move rather quickly, and we'll have Mr. Schulz down the field grabbing a few players of his choice after the game for the players of the game. And we'll try to search the record books at halftime. I know Sterling has not scored 60 points in a half in my 17 years here. And as Kevin mentioned, I don't think they've scored 60 points in a game in my 17 years at Sterling.
Should we put John Hallwood on that, maybe?
He may have to research that. That'll be his homework
John
assignment.
did a good, but he's got to step up the difficulty.
Oh, he's got he wants his, like he's hugging his hoagie here.
On the trivia question. Oh, okay.
He's hugging his hoagie. Are you going to nap on it? Is that a pillow or is that a hoagie? That's a big one.
That's a hoagie.
Wow, I thought you were going to take a nap.
That's my dinner.
I thought you could take a nap. That's a big one.
Okay, John, relax. We're going to let you eat it.
So a student has denied our request, Mr. Schulz.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, all right.
We have kids.
No.
We have kids of our own. We know what it's like. Yeah. This ball might stay in bounds, and it's recovered initially. Sterling touched it first. Fortunately for Lindenwold, it was not recovered by Mayo. Lindenwold's going to pick it up at their own 14. And in 35 seconds, the wildest offensive half of Sterling football is going to come to an end.
Now, there's not much more you can say than we've already said. Just total dominance on both sides of the ball by Sterling.
1st and 10 for Lindenwold from about the 14-yard line. 35 seconds to go first half. 60-0 Silver Knights. Shotgun for Bonilla. Has Busby with him. Bonilla straight back, rolling, going deep. This ball's up for grabs, and that is definitely pass interference.
That's going to get called.
They got that one. Well, if you're going to do pass interference, you might as well get your money's worth, and Deuce Efford did that. That ball probably could have been called fair catch by about 12 players out there. It was a wounded duck coming down.
Well, that's the other thing, is that have we had a game where we've had this few of penalties, whether it's a blowout for Sterling or for another team in the last couple of years? This is probably the least penalized game I think we've had in maybe, I would say, 3 or 4 years.
It's moving along for sure. So there's 25 seconds to go. It's going to be 1st and 10 Lindenwold. If you're Lindenwold, you're trying anything. You just got to get something on the board tonight before this game ends. Shotgun again, Bonilla. Gets the pass off, and that is intercepted. Intercepted on the play by Eli Thompson. So a freshman in Thompson intercepts it, and that is going to stop the clock with 14 seconds remaining here in the first half.
Nice play by Eli Thompson, Jeremiah Thompson's younger brother. Freshman starter on the defense, doing an outstanding job this year.
It's a nice dive-in catch. So from the 33, 1st and 10 Sterling, you would assume the last play of the first half. Thompson's still in at quarterback for this last play, we think, of the first half. And he'll kneel down with it. So the wildest first half point-wise for Sterling is over. They lead it at the half 60-0. We will hang around here for a couple minutes, talk a little bit, and I believe if we have a band performance, we will show the band for you here. But, Kevin, what an amazing offensive display for Sterling.
They didn't treat it like a letdown game.
No.
You know, that obviously I'm sure was on the minds of the coaches in the full week of preparation. And, boy, just a complete team effort here in this first half.
Well, used to hear one of our other announcer friends saying hitting on all 8 cylinders. Oof. Well, I mean, you can't really think of much that Sterling did wrong.
No, and I think, you know, I keep saying it, the big thing is coming out of this game healthy. And you have to like what you see from Jeremiah Thompson. And granted, didn't really throw the ball downfield, which you can't do in this situation. But on the short plays, the slants, we finally could see what Jeremiah Thompson's able to do when he has time to throw the ball. And you know, we've seen our last few years where he was under duress, where he would get the ball in the shotgun, set the feet, and had bodies in his face. But it's nice to see him get time, and you really see the true talent that Jeremiah Thompson has in throwing the ball.
He threw for, what did I say, 5 touchdowns in the first half. 3 to Potts, 2 to Everett. An interception and a punt run back as well, and that's why we're sitting at 60-0 here in the first half. Again, we'll bring you the Lindenwold Band as they will be performing here at halftime.
And the thing about it, like we talked about it, that probably the strength of this Sterling team is the passing game. But we really haven't. We see Trey Potts came and passed a little bit, but again, we go back to that Delran game. You have to think it's a different result with Thompson in there with the passing game and the multiple weapons in the running game. It's just a nightmare for a defense to cover all those weapons and such a large part of the field when Jeremiah Thompson has the ability down the road to stretch the field.
And I'll go back to last week, that catch by Valeriano.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the best catches you're going to see from a college or pro player, let alone a high school player.
Well, that's the one thing. You know, we've seen a lot of different parts of the Sterling offense, but that's the one thing that I think moving forward you're really going to see a lot of is one-on-one matchups with Valeriano and the ability of Maya Thompson to throw the ball to him downfield. It's something we haven't seen because they haven't been in a position to do it yet.
And if you're walking in the hallways and you walk by Valeriano, he's a tall, I mean, he's got to be 6'6",
Right.
and he's got long arms. So we'll keep an eye on that. What we'll do right now is we'll zoom in on the band, and we'll let you listen to the band, and we will come back with second half action in a little bit.
Perform the first movement of the show. The band is led by seniors Tanya Torres, Fabian Thompson, Sonia Johnson, Julia Arevalo, Osmar Rojas, and Iris Lopez. Welcome the band. as they bring back the pride of blue to Lindenwold High School. for our marching Lions for a great halftime performance. A little less than 5 minutes to go before we begin the second half. If you're feeling a little hungry, or you could use a drink, go down to the concession stand and get one of our many great items.
Return.
Yes, please, sir. Thank you. We all got better places to be.
And we welcome everybody back for second half action here. And I am being outnumbered by Schulz is here. We have myself with Mr. Schulz, Kevin Schulz, and we are now joined by Jason Schulz, who played football for Sterling here a few years ago. Jason, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you for having me.
Did you make it for the whole first half?
I did, yeah. Well, I missed like the first 2 minutes, but.
Give us your impressions of what you saw.
A lot of Sterling.
No doubt, yeah. Yeah, for that first quarter, I think our worst field position was on their 40-yard line.
Were you ever on the positive end of a game like this? Or were you guys on the other end when you played?
On the other end.
All right, so what's this like then? Let's speak for Lindenwold. What's this like for Lindenwold right now?
It doesn't feel good. You just kind of, I don't want to say you want the game to be over, but, you know.
It's tough being out there, sure.
And it's hard, to show your pride that you care and you want to keep going. But yeah, when you're looking at a 60-0 first half deficit, that's tough.
Well, it's good that the state came in and now, over the last few years, put the running clock on a 35-point differential. Now, we were looking at this different-looking kickoff setup. I don't have any idea why they'd set up it. Do you know any reason why they?
I would say it's mostly like a huddle, but at the same time, I think if they wanted to do an onside kick,
they could just go right at it. Right, okay. I kind of thought that you'd have everybody concentrated in the middle.
It keeps the other team on their toes while you're still figuring stuff out.
Nice line drive kick. Lindenwold will take it at their own 10. And an open field tackle about the 24. All right, so guys, I researched some numbers, and without looking down, Kevin, you're not allowed to look down.
Okay.
Who do you think in the last 15 years had the biggest win differential against us? Because we'll play the other side here. There's a couple teams, too. A lot of these you've broadcast with me. Be 1st and 10.
I'm going to say probably West Deptford.
All right, so West Deptford. Here's a couple West Deptfords. 2010, Sterling lost 62-3. 2015, Sterling lost 62-0. There's another team in here that put 62 on us.
Haddonfield?
No.
Willingboro.
They did. Okay. Willingboro, 62-6.
Yeah.
All right, so that takes care of a couple of our big beatdowns, as you're going to get a Bonilla run here. Nice tackle there coming in from the secondary, and the tackle there was Tavon Atkins. All right, can you guys take a guess? The biggest wins Sterling has had in the last handful of years, and I think Jason was here for a couple of them. And no peeking. I wrote them down.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't look down.
No, look down. You can look up. I will say one of them happened. The biggest was 2014. The second biggest was 2017.
I'm going to say maybe Audubon to 2017.
Audubon, yes. 2017, Sterling scored 48 points. In 2014, though, there was another school Sterling scored more against. And it wasn't quite 60. As that is a run to the right back, the original line of scrimmage.
2014.
2014, we almost scored 60. Not quite.
I don't remember this one.
Did we play?
It's those 2 yards back. So
I'm going to say Gateway.
No.
For Lindenwold here.
This team is no longer in the Colonial Conference. Overbrook is correct. So the biggest win in recent history, 2014, Sterling put 56 up against Overbrook. I have to go back to my written world to find out the last time oh boy, this is going through everyone. They're going to jump on this there is Busby. I do not have the last time Sterling has scored 60. I have written records in a book at home, I got to go to that, Kevin, to find out the last time Sterling scored 60.
You can't send John Hallwood back to your house.
Go
to
get my
the written
book, bring it
record.
back here.
So
again, if you were counting at home, 56 points against Overbrook, and then 48 against Audubon in 2017. And again, if you've been a Sterling fan, you've had teams run up 62 on you 1, 2, 3, 4 times in the last 15 years.
looks like they're getting some younger players in there up front.
Looks like Valeriano is going to take this punt back at the 40-yard line. Valeriano is going to take this, and he wants to run left across the 30. And he's going to get down about the 24-yard line, and we'll see what kind of changes Sterling has offensively here.
Yeah, I think gradually, like I said, on defense, they look like they were bringing some younger guys in. And we're definitely going to see this as we have the running clock.
Now, I don't know if you'd see this at home. You see big number 79? It looks like that Andy Reid punt, pass, and kick shot.
When he was 13, right?
Number 79 is Zay Lytle. He's on the left end right now. He looks like the dad or the big brother with these guys out there. Here's a shotgun to Eli Thompson. Handoff far side, going with it there is Agbesi. And Agbesi is going to score. He scores from 24 yards out. Agbesi's first touchdown of the year.
And they're not, Jason, we were saying, they're running the ball for the most part, so you can't tell younger kids who get in there not to run hard. This is their chance to play at the varsity level, so it is what it is right now.
And Sterling's offensive line is just winning every snap at the line of scrimmage, just pushing their guys back, not giving any chance. Along with the defense, Sterling's defensive line, they're on them in the backfield almost every play.
Here's Herbert in for the extra point. Line drive, and that is hooked to the left. Clock will continue to run. Now, unlike a Group 4 or Group 5 school, Kevin, where you have many, many players, one of the issues with a Group 1 or Group 2 school is you only have a certain amount of players.
Yeah.
So how deep can Sterling go if they start going more to the bench? I mean, how far can they empty all 11?
Yeah, well, obviously you look at both teams, you talk about the lower groups and a team that's not that successful. You don't see a lot of bodies on the sideline. Sterling has a decent amount, but you're right, you can only go so deep. I mean, we've seen some of the Group 4 schools that'll line up 90 kids or 75 kids out there.
And literally you'll get a depth chart like they do in pro sports before the game, and you'll have 4 or 5 guys listed at each position.
Yeah.
Sterling, now Jason, you can help me. What would be a normal depth chart? Are we talking 3 players deep per position? 2 per position?
Yeah, definitely 3. Not normally 4. It depends on position. Like, if you go linebackers, you start thinking in groups, and defensive line, you start thinking in groups.
Yeah.
But like, I'd say quarterback, you're only thinking to 3 guys.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, groups 2. So it depends. If it's a group, it's normally like, I'd say 5 that are often in the mix, and then 6 plus come in as 2s.
All right, so we'll see what that was, because Eli Thompson, the freshman, the younger brother of Maya Thompson, was in the last time. I was a little surprised to see Valeriano returning a kick. He's one of your gold pawn pieces back there.
I mean, that's the thing. The goal now, we were talking earlier, Jason, is just to come out of this game healthy.
I agree. You got to get those young guys in there.
Well, it's just the fact that he is going to have a key role in that Haddonfield game, and the last thing you need him to do is get beat up. Here comes Collins. Collins from his own 10. Collins by 1. Now cuts. Ooh, that was a clothesline tackle. Just took him off his feet.
Wow.
I don't see who got that, the number of that truck. I believe that might have been X Miller on the tackle there. Clock continues to run. 4.5 minutes to go in the third. Knights up 66-0.
And Jason, you were talking about, we mentioned it, about the dominance up front of both the defensive and offensive line. Talk about, that being a result of Coach Harris's push to get everybody in the weight room and get everybody to buy in.
Yeah, in 8th grade, he comes to Yellen and a lot of the schools in the district, and talks about his weight room program and invites us all to go after school. That's what we did when I was in 8th grade, and I'm sure the tradition's still going.
It looks like almost all substitutes in now for Sterling. So they go near side of the field. This is Busby, and a nice tackle there. That was Vinny Capozzoli, a sophomore. As I'm trying to get a good look at some of these numbers, I do see Makai Morgan still out there. Andre Vi. A lot of new numbers going in and out. Andrew Kraus comes into the game, defensive line. Going to be 2nd and 10. Oh, boy. All right, picking that up. This is Prince Boothman. We had his name wrong earlier. So Prince Boothman picks it up. He's going to get about 2.
And I think what you do in this situation, obviously the linebackers are younger guys, the defensive line, but you keep some of the defensive backs back there that are varsity guys because you want to avoid a big play. And obviously there's some pride in preserving the shutout. So I'm thinking, there's a little bit of that. But you kind of weigh that out with, again, keeping everybody healthy. So it's not an easy decision.
3rd down and 7 for the Lions. 2:45 and counting to play in the 3rd. It's been all Silver Knights. Shotgun here for Bonilla. Backfield with him is Busby. Handoff around the end. Collins, nice tackle there. Again, we've seen some nice tackling tonight for Sterling. One of them in there was Makai Morgan. Also looked on the play, Andrew Vi.
Well, that's one thing you're getting defensively from a lot of these defensive backs is not only are they really good in coverage, they have good speed, but not afraid to come up as run stoppers. And I think that was, not having obviously Maya Thompson against Delran and also not having Trey Potts obviously hurt you offensively. But I feel like not having Trey Potts in there defensively also hurt you because of his ability to stop the run.
Punt team is in. Maldonado, Ardon in. They're going to send Valeriano back again at the 40-yard line of Sterling. Man in motion. This is a pass play. Pass is there. Jump ball. Boom!
It is a fake punt.
Wow, that was a huge hit by Valeriano. Let's give some credit to Julius Wiggins, a freshman who held on to the football.
Well, that's a big-time hit right there, and our punter has just done an outstanding job in a very tough situation. Ardon for
that was a beautiful throw.
And throwing the ball right on the money.
That was their best offensive play of the game. That's what they paid for it. Under a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. First down and 10 from the 45. Bonilla from the shotgun. And what do we get here? No flag is thrown. Referees are talking it over. They're counting players now. All right. Nothing there.
Nice quick 3rd quarter.
Wow. If you blinked, you missed it.
Yeah.
1st and 10 from the 45. Final 20 seconds here of the 3rd quarter. Shotgun for Bonilla. Sterling shifting players all over the field. Deuce Everett has to run off the field, makes it off in time. Bonilla wants to pass a high looping ball here in and out of the hands of his receiver. Tried to get it to Busby, had pretty good coverage on the play. And that is going to do it for the 3rd quarter. We've played 3 here from Lindenwold. It's been all Sterling. They lead it 66-0. And again, Kevin, that's where that rule comes in. The clock runs from the time they do it, so that's why we're going to get a handful of plays here in this 4th quarter, and that'll do it.
Yeah, and looking ahead now, which obviously we can, which we've done pretty early in this game. I have to think next week against Haddonfield, we'll get a pretty good crowd out for that game, and I think that's going to be an electric atmosphere.
Here for the Lindenwold football
coming into the game, Haddonfield is 3-2. The key being they beat Delran last week, who Sterling lost to. Now, that's good and it's bad. Psychologically, maybe it's bad that, oh, boy, they beat Delran. But because you lost to Delran, now Delran has a loss, you're still in it for the division now.
Right.
You beat Haddonfield, you're still there.
You control your own destiny, and I think that's all you really want to be in position to do at this point in the season.
2nd down and 10 for Lindenwold as we start the 4th quarter. Tad Kozaneski, Kevin Schulz, Jason Schulz with you here. Bonilla from the shotgun on 2nd down. Bonilla scrambling to the near side of the field. Good run by Bonilla. He's going to get the 1st down and pulled out of bounds just across the 40-yard line by Andrew Vide.
And you've got younger guys out there, and this is that plays a good film study play for the younger guys in that, hey, you don't give up on a play. And they I think they thought he was out of bounds, but even at, a Lindenwold team that's a little down, they have guys running at the varsity level who, can accelerate upfield, and that's a play you don't want to give up on.
Yeah, this is really good experience for the young guys out there, and they can come back and watch the film, and hopefully they are really critical on themselves for every little thing, including the varsity guys. I hope they're critical on everything that went wrong in this game, even though there wasn't much.
No, not much at all.
Timeout on the play. Sterling wants to regroup, and this is something you see a lot, and Jason, you can talk about on the field. When you're in situations like this and first teamers are with 3rd stringers and 4th stringers, it's hard to get everyone organized to figure out who's on the field. And that's what they had to do here, is figure out who is going to be out there for this.
Yeah, it's pretty chaotic for the young guys because they're nervous, but they're also ready to go. And sometimes it gets foggy when you're trying to think of all the technical things, and the coaches are telling you what to do.
And it's tough being a second teamer. You don't get the reps that the older guys do, and in most cases, you're on a scout team on the other side of the ball running the other team's offense.
Do you remember your first play, varsity?
Yeah.
What was it?
It was in sophomore year at Deptford. I think I was in for maybe 4 plays at linebacker. This is when we went 8-2, I think.
Okay.
And we were destroying them for the most part.
All right, we'll get back to that in a second here on 1st and 10 for Lindenwold. We'll see what was going through your mind there. It's back to passes. Bonilla gets around the left end again, and he'll get pushed out of bounds at the 30. It's cool that you remember it. Nervous? What can you tell us about it?
Nervous. The guys on varsity, they're bigger when you get there, and you're just you take a step back, and then you take a step forward, and all right, now I'm ready to go. And then their first play gets by, and then you're kind of in the zone after that.
And I think always getting that first hit in makes you feel a little more comfortable.
Gain of 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Prince Boothman now in. And this one goes to Busby. Busby, a good cut here. He's going to get a 1st down, still on his feet. Good run by Busby as he gets down to the 11-yard line, and Lindenwold is in business.
Well, you got to give credit. You said how, boy, this is tough being in this situation, but these Lindenwold backs are still playing hard and giving it their all in a rough game.
Yeah, that's what you want to see out of a loss like this. You just want to see hard.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 from about the 12-yard line. So they can get a 1st down around the 2. And off far side, this is Collins. Collins retreats, gets by a couple, and then he is going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage. Actually taking away the ball for a second was Nico Gillian. But still Lindenwold ball. Yeah, there's a lot of white shirts out there.
Yeah, that's what you like to see. You like to see 9+ Sterling helmets at the ball by the end of the play.
Lost a couple yards, but
and that's the one thing, one of the many things you're seeing this year is that when you play against a good team, we saw it last week when I believe his name was Williams for West Deptford, a Division I caliber back, had a lot of speed, a lot of explosiveness. They got a lot of bodies to him and didn't allow him to get in space and did it as a group defensively.
That's what you need. First guy's got to go in there, trip them up, and then you got your buddies behind you, hopefully 3 to 5 people going after him after you.
Bonilla wants to keep it himself. Good ankle tackle on the play. That was Bub Hall, a sophomore, a gain of about a half a yard. So the second stringers trying to hold on to the shutout. In a lot of cases, third stringers.
Yeah. Some of these guys even saw action last year, and you talk about a blowout, the Paulsboro game, where I think we were down, maybe it was almost like this for Lindenwold, down 40-0 in the first half.
Third down and 13 in 2-down territory from the shotgun, Bonilla. 2 wideouts left, 2 wideouts to the right. Bonilla looking near side, jump ball, who wants it? Flag down, it is caught by Lamar Green. And let's see if they give Lindenwold the touchdown here. Lamar Green is a junior. I believe he's going to get the touchdown.
I'd say that's defensive.
Still talking. We have no official signaling. Now the official comes in. Yes, it is against Sterling. So give Green the touchdown, and Lindenwold is on the board. And as you say, you've said it many times, nothing fancy. That was just a ball thrown up in the air, almost like a punt, and just go get it.
A one-on-one battle. You had a bigger kid. Just, again, went up and got it.
As the band kicks in, Jason, welcome to the band, who is now awake to our right again.
Yeah, that's one of those things you want to be critical about in film. Those jump balls. I saw some even in the first half. They didn't end in completions, but you saw some that could have been DPI and some that they were giving the receivers a chance to make a play.
Tried to go for 2 there. Hugo Aravallo, no good. Tackled by Andrew Krause.
That's something I would imagine Coach Chop will bring up in film.
Yeah.
To the DBs, just letting them know that you got to stand your ground, find the ball, and make a play on it.
Because they're little things that could end up in
Exactly.
being a difference in a game up and coming.
And that's tough for a defender, literally, especially if you're facing a guy who's 4 or 6 inches bigger than you. And it's literally just who can jump higher at that point.
And even when it's like, sometimes the throw isn't all that great, and the receiver can see it first, and he has to run back 5 yards to go get it. And you don't really know where the ball is. That's why you got to look up, find the ball when you see the receiver's eyes light up.
Well, we have 7 minutes and counting here in this game. Sterling leading it now 66-6. Again, if you're just tuning in, Sterling got 60 in the first half. The most they've scored that I can find in recent memory, 56 against Overbrook in 2014. I'm going to have to research this when I go home. I have a homework assignment. Look in the record books and find out the last time they have topped 66. It's been a long time. Clock continues to run here. Again, the New Jersey rules, second half, you're up by 35. The clock will run. I think Lindenwold got what they wanted, Kevin, in the fact that they got some points on the board.
Sure. And, you talk about, in this situation, you're looking for little things to be positive to pull out of this game. And very tough from a coach's standpoint. And just keeping everybody going, and you just got to keep everybody positive if you're Lindenwold.
I want to welcome John Hallwood back. I want to thank Jason Schulz for joining us there for a while. I want to give him a chance to give the players perspective. So Lindenwold into kickoff. Again, we're under 6 minutes and counting in this game. After the game, we're going to send Mr. Schulz down the field, grab a couple players, talk about what's going on, so we hope you hang around for that. We haven't had the opportunity yet at our home games because a lot of the games have just gone too long. Today, I think we'll have a chance to talk to a couple players. Kick goes far side. Sterling to return. Oh boy, gets a hole here. Going with it is Makai Morgan. Makai Morgan still on his feet. Gets up to the 49-yard line where Sterling will take over 1st and 10.
Sterling taking up by number 5, Keyshawn Collins. Sterling will start the drive at their own 49.
So again, next week, we will be live from Haddonfield. Division battle. Last time Sterling had beaten Haddonfield is 2017. Beat him in the regular season, hosted them in a playoff game, and lost it. That's been the last home playoff game Sterling has had.
Ball is
from midfield, 1st and 10. He's in the quarterback here. Low snap is chasing is Eli Thompson, and they just jump on the ball. Good job to jump on that on the play by Sam Agbesi.
And one of the Lindenwold players slow to get up, number 9.
That's Prince Boothman. So that'll stop the clock here for the injury timeout. Again, reminder, if you're a fan of Sterling Sports, they have that soccer game tomorrow. Will not be on TV, but they're playing the number 3 team in the state tomorrow at home, 10 o'clock. Monday, on our day off, we're hoping to have the broadcast with Haddon Heights soccer. And then next Friday, the football game at Haddonfield, besides some games in between.
Yeah, some big games coming up. And, regardless of records, Haddon Heights is always a team that finds a way to give teams in the conference tough games. I know over the last few years, they've come up with a couple upsets over teams where they didn't necessarily have their best year, but Jeff Eppright really does a good job with them. And, you can never kind of look past that type of team.
That's what's ahead of them. And on Tuesday, we have the volleyball team playing for a division title. They win it, they win the division, so we'll have that live on Tuesday as Boothman comes off the field.
A couple of outstanding volleyball matches over the last 2 weeks. And this is a team that, as far as Sterling volleyball goes, that really is playing well. And we had them in the first game of the season, and just didn't have good chemistry. And that happens at the beginning of the season, but you didn't think they would get to the point where they're playing the way they are right now. So kudos to Coach Bill Scully and all the girls on that volleyball team.
2nd down and 25 for Sterling. Eli Thompson, the younger brother of Maya Thompson. They hand that off to Agbesi. Agbesi finds a seam, gets a block. He has a chance to take this one back. Agbesi, one man to beat, and he beats him. 65 yards and a touchdown for Agbesi, his 2nd touchdown of the game.
Yeah, Agbesi showing great speed once he was able to get into the open field. And Agbesi, one of the underclassmen, only a junior, so this is a guy who will have passed this year. Nice balance on this team of younger guys and older guys.
And honestly, a game like this can really find yourself. You can find yourself in the starting, maybe in the depth as a 3rd-string running back for Sterling with a game like this. I mean, he's already made 2 great runs already.
Extra point try. I guess Jeremiah's going to try it again. He kicked earlier in the game. And that kick is good. Had a chance here. Mr. Schulz is going to make his way down. And so, John, you and I will be up here finishing on the game. Our historian from Sterling, John Daly, checking in, said Sterling scored 2 games in the same season in the 60s back in the 1970s. He said Overbrook was one of them on Thanksgiving. He says he thinks it was 62, definitely not 66. So the 73 points right now, as far as we can tell in our record books, I'll find it later, this, we believe, is the most Sterling has scored in the history of the school. And John will get back to me on that. We verified some mid-60s, but we do not believe they have scored in the 70s, as it's 73-6. Again, we'll have a little bit of the post-game show coming up here in a couple minutes. And John, make sure I have your mic on. Can we hear you, John?
No,
there you are.
I don't think I am on.
There you are. I hear. Yes.
You can hear me? Okay, I can hear myself sometimes.
So we're going to stall a little bit, John. When Mr. Schulz literally makes his way down the field, he's going to interview a couple of the players after the game. So, John, you're experiencing some Sterling history. The school's been around since 1962, and as far as we can tell, they have never scored 70 points in a game.
And honestly, that's kind of surprising. You would expect for a school that's been around that long, maybe to have a game like that. Of course, early on when the school was built, they had won, I believe, a championship early on when the school was built.
Yeah, back in the 70s, they had a handful of them, but none of those games were in the 60s. So, again, I want to thank John Daly with his memory. Again, I'll have to check for next week. I'll have that for us because I do have a book of scores at home that go back to the beginning of time, if you will, when recorded time was taken. We got about a minute to go in this one as Sterling will kick off. This is a short kick. Somebody better pick it up, and they do. It looked like that was Shepard that picked it up. And he goes down about the 25-yard line. I don't know if Lindenwold's going to get a chance to have another play.
They might get at least one play, and that's about it.
Yeah, they're going to have to hurry because it's 35 seconds in running right now. So again, we ask you to hang around especially if you're a parent checking this one out. We're going to be down on the side of the field. I believe Lindenwold called a timeout there. They want to get another play on. So they called timeout with 15 seconds. So that upcoming schedule we're talking about again tomorrow, not on TV, the girls soccer game with the undefeated Sterling girls team, 10 o'clock hosting Homedale, who's number 3 in the state. Monday, we will be on TV with Haddon Heights boys soccer.
And honestly, another world-breaking record here. Lomas is right now on track to be on his 12th consecutive clean sheet right there. He could tie the record right there. I believe that was set in 1986. I can't quite remember the player that did that, but it's going to be awesome to see if Joey Lomas can beat that record.
Yeah, it was 1986. I'm checking my notes here in a second for Mr. Sheehan. Gary Stiles, 15 total, 12 in a row, 5 goals in the season he gave up.
Well, Lomas is also, quick question, is that also postseason included?
I would think so, yes. Here's a draw play right up the middle. Here's a foot race.
And look at this guy.
Good job, Busby, and Busby's going to go the distance. And he scores with 5 seconds remaining. So if you like points, you came to the right place. It's a 73-yard touchdown run. Makes the score 70. I'm sorry, I have to fight with the PA announcer here. 73 to 12 now. Whoops, as they're coming up there.
So goes straight through the hole, center of the hole, and honestly, it was just pure speed. No one else could catch him, and
Here comes an untimed extra point. As your final score is at least going to be 73 to 12, barring this extra point try.
I think this is going to be a 2-point conversion.
So let's see if they go for 2 or what they're going to do. All right, looks like, let's see. All right, looks like they will go for 2 now. From the shotgun is Bonilla. Bonilla keeps it himself, and Bonilla is not going to get in. In fact, they're going to throw him 10 yards back, and that is going to mercifully put an end to this game. As far as we can tell, Sterling with a school record puts on 73 points. They win it by a score of 73 to 12. Again, we're going to ask you to hang out a couple minutes as Kevin Schulz will be down on the side of the field talking to some of the players. But, John, the offense did everything they had to do.
They really did. You saw Jeremiah Thompson. The big question was how he was going to be timing the throws and how he was going to be with other players. And honestly, a game like this, there was no question, a doubt on his ability. He gave the ball to Trey Potts. He really gave it around to his weapons. And honestly, it's going to be interesting on how he plays against very well played Haddonfield.
Again, if you like points, you came to the right place. If you had 85 points on the board, it's been a while between the two teams. Sterling puts up 73. As you see the right side of your screen, Mr. Schulz, we're going to talk with you here for a little bit, and we're going to get him to talk to a couple of players, possibly the coach, as we get a couple words in here. Because, again, we haven't had a chance to talk to these guys. The home games go a little bit longer than normal, and we're very rushed to pack up a lot of our equipment we have out. So we're going to give it a shot tonight to see who he can get over to talk with us. But, man, an amazing performance. As you look back, pretty much Maya Thompson, 5 touchdown passes, all in the first half. Sterling also had an interception for a touchdown, also had a punt return for a touchdown. So a lot of good things happening for Sterling throughout that game.
It really was, and not to mention defensively, too. They, of course, not till like the fourth quarter did Sterling let up a point. So defensively, they have really shown how well they've done. And again, we mentioned this in the beginning of the broadcast, that Sterling's defense was a very key point of this game, and it's really been shown out today, and it's going to hopefully show into next week's game against Haddonfield.
Didn't appear, again, it's hard for us to tell here, but didn't appear there were any major injuries. That would be the other thing, getting ready for Haddonfield next week. Unlike this week, which was a 6 o'clock start, Haddonfield will be a 7 o'clock start at Haddonfield. And regardless of the records, John, I know you've been to Haddonfield with this too, it's a wild place to see a game. All the spectators are on the same side of the field, the old-fashioned setting. It's going to be an electric night.
It really is, and the first year that I went there was, of course, the playoff game. And of course, we didn't win that playoff game. We got almost basically shut out. Nick Harmer was the only one to score that touchdown for Sterling. And honestly, this team is a lot different, and we can see them compete against West Defford. You never know; they look like they could really shock Haddonfield.
Yeah, they beat West Defford for the first time since 2005, and again, last time they beat Haddonfield was 2017. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here and what they can take out of leaving tonight. Again, hopefully healthy, leaving with a lot of positive, and be ready to play, because Haddonfield is not going to lay down and die for you. That's for sure.
No, and that's what you're going to have to do is, like, you can't make these mistakes that once in a while you make. You almost got to play a near perfect game against Haddonfield.
Yeah, they're very solid. Don't beat themselves. Again, unlike West Defford, the classic example is West Defford, John. That West Defford game we had here, how many penalties were there for West Defford? I mean, they were easily in a dozen or more penalties, and it killed them. It
really did kill them. Anytime they had any momentum going for them, they would either make a false start or really just the penalties killed them. And I don't think you're going to expect too much anything like that from Haddonfield. They play the game. They know the game well. And honestly, you got to play them in their own turf.
Again, we're waiting for Mr. Schulz. He's on the middle of your screen there with the white shirt on. We're going to be talking to a couple players if we can. It's just waiting for them to kind of wind things down. It's the first time we've had a chance to talk to a couple of players. So, again, we're just stalling for Mr. Schulz here for you.
And honestly, another thing is that Sterling's record right now, going 5-1. What's the last time that Sterling has had a winning record?
Well, their last winning season was 2017 when they went 8-2. So most likely that's where they were in that. And again, that the loss that ended the season was the playoff game at home against Haddonfield when they beat them in the regular season the week before. It was an odd situation. It was a beautiful day. The game was played at Cherry Hill West, and not only Sterling beat them, they beat them up, beat them pretty severely. And then the playoffs, we come back, and it was very cold, very windy, took our passing game pretty much off the table, and Haddonfield was able to take care of business and knock us out of the playoffs. So looks like Mr. Schulz is gathering some players over there on the right side of your screen. We're going to follow him over in a minute. There you see Mr. Schulz grabbing some guys to talk with. We'll get him over at the microphone in a second, and we'll get to hear from a couple of our Silver Knights as they have won in record fashion, putting up 73 points. And as far as we can tell, and John Daly, who's been a longtime fan of Sterling and a record keeper as well, is saying we don't think they've scored 73, so that's why we're thinking a record performance tonight. So we'll follow Mr. Schulz and see what we get here.
And honestly, it's really great to see, to be even an experience of, to even see a record-breaking something like that.
All right, looks like Mr. Schulz is getting close, so we'll see once he looks like he's organized here. We'll kick it down to him. So, John, once Mr. Schulz looks up at me, we will let him do his thing. It looks like he's getting the chords organized. Just waiting for him to get the signal here, and then we'll let him go. I don't think he's in a big hurry to do this right now.
He's taking his sweet time.
Yes.
You know how he is. He usually likes to run for mayor, too.
Yeah, that's what you got to talk to everybody, making friends. So as soon as he looks up, we'll go to him. He's just not looking up at me right now. You ready? He can go.
Let me get this on.
Yeah, it's on. Go ahead.
Good.
Yeah.
And we're back here with our stars of the game in a fairly easy game that was decided early on. Jeremiah, you want to come in here? Jeremiah Thompson, our quarterback. Boy, felt good for you. It had to feel great getting back in this game. Talk a little bit about that.
You know, that was just good, like coming back and like shaking the rust off a little bit. But this game, that was really nothing because like next week we have Haddonfield, and that's like a really big game. So, it felt good just to come back and like play in the game again.
Yeah, and it had to feel good. This is almost like a tune-up game just for you to get back into game speed, get your timing down in preparation for next week. Talk a little bit about that.
I mean, like in practice, like we ran so like a lot of the same plays, and it felt good coming back and like getting all the timing down. And yeah,
you were right on your money with the throws to the receivers. It seemed like very quickly. I'm sure you were nervous coming back, but once you completed that first pass, did you start to get into a comfort zone?
Yeah, so after my first completion, like I definitely felt more comfortable and got the butterflies out. For sure.
Yeah, it definitely looked that way. Well, Jeremiah, hey, it's great to have you back, and thanks for coming on with us, and best of luck next week. Go get them.
Thank you. Go Knights.
Okay, that's a go Knights. Who's next? You guys, you going to battle it out here? We going to have a wrestling match here, or what? Trey Potts, no stranger to Channel 19 interviews. You know, I talked to you earlier in the week. I said, what position you play this week? You said you'll play whatever position that the team needs you, but it had to feel good getting back to your natural position. Talk a little bit about that.
It definitely felt good getting back to the natural position, but you know, coach needs me in a spot. I'll go there, and it's pretty easy when we have guys like Jameer Richardson, dog, Makai Morgan, dog, Deuce Everett, dog. It's just easy. So we're just practicing really hard and going at it.
And we're talking really to the leaders on this team. Talk about the need this week for you guys not to get caught up in a trap game and not think ahead to Haddonfield. And it looked like you took care of business early on. Talk about how that was part of your preparation.
So the preparation, it starts in the trenches. Everything starts in the trenches. So we're talking to our big guys and we're just getting it down.
Did it seem like you talk about the trenches job they were doing? Was there a lot of space out there for you?
It gives the linebackers in the secondary a lot more room to work with, like with running through gaps and running through alleys. So it really starts with the trenches.
And what's the key next week? Obviously, the biggest game of the year, going against the Haddonfield team. It's had a lot of success. What's the key going against this Haddonfield team?
The key is to keep it moving. We're full head of steam, and to keep doing what we're doing.
And a good preparation this week in preparation week this week in practice.
Yeah, of course. So we can't hold back. We got to prep hard and go hard in practice, and every rep's like a game rep.
Trey, thanks for coming on with us. Outstanding job. I believe did you have 4 or 5 touchdowns?
Might have been 4.
Okay, you're a team player. You don't even worry about that. Yeah. Well, best luck next week, and thanks for coming on with us, pal. Okay. Okay, who's next? Makai, you want to go last? Okay, put this guy on the spot. All right, we want to make sure there's no injuries over there. His big brother, as he lowers his shoulder into him. I'll tell you what, we talked about you being physical on the outside, but you also, in addition to seeing Tino Severese do a real nice job containing on the outside. Talk about that.
Well, we rep it a lot in practice. The D-line, we just focus on contain like a lot of practice.
Is that going to be a big factor as you move into the Haddonfield game next week?
Yeah, they have a really decent quarterback. We planning to stop him.
You want to put a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure, whole lot.
And to also talk about, as a team defensively, it looks like you guys really fly to the ball. Is that something you guys preach and practice, the pursuit to the outside, getting a lot of bodies out there?
Yeah, a big thing we say in practice is to fly around all the time. You know, we work on being aggressive on defensive practice every day.
And obviously, over the last 2 years, you guys have been on the other side of games like this. You've been a starter for a while. Talk about the feeling right now of turning things around and really getting things going in the right direction.
Well, you know, in the past there was a lot of quiet bus rides home, but now, you know, now that we turned it around, it's a really good feeling on the inside to be on the other side of the scoreboard.
Well, Jameer, congratulations getting a win. I'll let you go home and make that a nice, noisy bus ride. And enjoy the win and get ready for next week.
There
you go. Thanks, Jameer. And Makai Daniels, I'm sorry, Makai is in my class. Yeah. Makai's in my class, so he got a shout out. Yeah, well, just because you did so good. But Makai Morgan, sorry about that. You have a lot of speed, but the thing that stuck out to me, and a lot of the backs on this team are like that, but especially you, is how hard you run. You take people with you. Is that something that you've got better at over the last couple years?
Honestly, yes. Last year, I wasn't really lifting that much, so it was mostly like I was just going. And like every time I got hit, I basically went down. Then I started getting in the weight room, started picking up my strength, started bringing people with me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it stands out. I remember you last year. You had quickness, but boy, your yards after after initial contact, it's outstanding. And it seems like not only you, but the entire group of backs have that mentality. Is that something that's contagious among you guys?
I feel like it is. One person see it, be like, "Well, yeah, we gotta live up to that." Yeah. And then that's really it. Honestly, we hit each other a lot in practice.
Okay.
So when we hit, we know how each other hit. We go hard on each other. So when we get in games, it's like.
Is it competition in practice that really brings that out in the game?
Oh yeah. I feel like if I didn't have all the running backs that we have right now, I probably wouldn't be the person I am, like running the ball right now, how I am.
And does that speak to the chemistry you guys have right now and the togetherness?
Yeah, especially hanging out outside of school and practice. I feel like, it builds our bond. Yeah. Gotta keep going.
Well, Makai Morgan, thank you for coming on with us. And, hey, great job tonight and best of luck the rest of the way, especially next week, pal.
Thank you.
Okay, have a great weekend. Okay, go Knights. And we have Coach Harris in here. Coach, I know you want to get on the bus, but we just want a few quick words with you. Man, oh man, it's got to feel good. You've been on the other side of this, just seeing these guys turn things around. Talk about the feeling that you just have in general about this team right now. I know there's bigger things to come, but talk about the feeling you have about them right now.
Just good to see them, having fun, after last year, just, turning it around. Just really keeping them focused. We're still young. We only have about 7 seniors. So it's just keeping them focused and, locked in, having fun, but at the same time, make sure we're, handling what we got to handle.
And we talked about the dominating job you guys did up front. And I don't know if you heard what Makai Morgan said, but we talked about him getting yards after initial contact, and he pointed to the weight room. That's something you really preach. Mm-hmm. Does it feel good seeing the fruits of the labor of pushing the kids in the weight room and having them buy into things finally get you on top of your
just to hear them say that so they kind of get the understanding how important it is. Because all the little things matter, being strong up front, being strong, taking care of your body. Especially at this point in the season, it's tough. If you look over at our bench, we got 6-7 guys out after, last week and the week prior. So just that aspect and, seeing them buy in and, doing everything you ask is great.
And you're going to enjoy this win, and rightfully so. Obviously, big game next week against Haddonfield. What's the key?
Just keeping them focused, all the details. One little mistake against that team, they make you pay. And being ready for all the looks they give you on defense. And just making that play. When the opportunity's there, we got to make that play.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Coach, congratulations on the win, and enjoy it. But best of luck next week against Haddonfield.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So that'll do it. We're going to wrap it up here. John Hallwood, outstanding job on the announcing. Okay job on the trivia, but we'll work on that next week. Jason Schulz, who came on, Mr. K, doing a great job as always. Great hearing him doing a play-by-play. I know he's behind the scenes and always does an outstanding job. And then Sam and Sheree, outstanding job on the camera. For everybody involved, I'm Mr. Schulz. We'll see you next week at Haddonfield next Friday night. Thanks for joining us.